Hi, neighbors. We're Crystal and Bill, and 2020 saw something amazing in our life. We got to know our neighbors from the safety of our front porch. It gave us some new perspective, and we realized it's part of why we love to travel, see new places, and meet new people. From craftspeople who are making amazing art, to everyday people who are doing extraordinary things, and to all the places we get to see in between. Welcome to A View from the Porch. Hi, neighbors. Hey, it's been a couple of minutes, and as you all know, we recently moved. We bought ourselves a house, nice little house, but it has a few quirks because it's old. The thing with old houses is old houses always need a little bit of work to them. And so part of our adventure that we're going to share with you today is some of that work that needs to be done and our adventures in doing some of it. Today what we're going to be focused on is shoe molding. What's shoe molding, you might ask? Well, we're here in the workshop today to show you exactly what that is and how we're going to go about repairing some of it. Now, we got very, very lucky in that a few years ago, no idea when, well before we bought it, somebody had tried to refinish all the floors in this house. And they actually did a really nice job. They're really pretty, they're nice and shiny. They really tried hard and obviously did a little bit of their own homework to figure out what to do. What they also did, though, was they removed the shoe molding. Now, the shoe molding resides right at the very, very base of your base molding and usually juts out into the floor just a little bit. Commonly, it's called quarter round. When you go to buy it in your hardware store, your Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, wherever you're at, that's what it'll be called, is quarter round molding. Some people use this on ceilings, they use it on floors for shoe molding, they use it all over the place. It's very, very common, and it's not that expensive, unless of course you have to have it made out of oak, which ours would have to be. Luckily, when they did take up all the shoe molding in this house, they left a whole bunch of it. But it's not clean. It's very, very dirty, and it didn't get refinished with the rest of the floors. So what we're focusing on today is trying to clean that up, and we're going to replace some of it, and it has a very unique profile, so we'll actually have to do some milling to make it. We can't just go out and buy this stuff. That would be too easy. So we're going to have to utilize some of our skills and make some of that shoe molding, and then we'll put that back in as time progresses. But for now, they've left us with a puzzle. And anybody who knows us knows we do enjoy a puzzle. Here's a part of that puzzle. They left us all of this stuff that you can see here. Now, as opposed to the quarter round, we'll add a little piece here, which would be typical same distance and just a 45-degree round, hence round over. This obviously has a slightly different profile. This is about 3/4 of an inch high by maybe 1/2 an inch deep. And they did round it over, but it's not exactly what you'd call quarter round. So this is what I will eventually have to be milling. And you can see from this piece here, this is a great example, some of it's a little bit dirty. There's some stuff all over it, needs to be cleaned up, so we can see what we've got and see what's still usable and what's not. Out of all of this stuff, then we got to figure out where the heck it's gonna go. The first place to start, though, before we can begin cleaning, is there are a few nails you can see here. Stuff like that, that's got to get out of there. So that's where we're going to start. Remove all the nails, and then we can start to clean. Great, that's all done. Now we can start cleaning this up. What are we going to use today to clean it? I will show you. We're using Murphy's Oil Soap. Hey, no, they're not a sponsor, but this stuff works great. This is the stuff your grandma used to clean her floors. And I gotta tell you, there's nothing better. It's great for wood, and because it has those oils in that soap, it works really, really well. But you're saying to yourself, wait a second, wood, water, those don't mix. This stuff works great. You take a little bit of it, because it's concentrated, you put it in some water, and you get, yep, ugly water. Uh-oh, looks like we encountered a problem. That's right. Somebody painted at some point in that room, whatever it was, and they spilled. How do you clean that stuff off? Well, this would classify as dirt, or rather soil, rather than oil. And so the same thing applies. It's on the surface. So we just take it off the surface. This takes a little bit of doing, and you gotta have a really light touch with the razor blade. Now, if you're really good, you could do this with your standard old utility knife, but I think these scrapers are a little bit easier to handle for a job like this. I'm just trying to ride underneath the paint that's on there and on top of the varnish. Now, I'm probably gonna mark it up just a tiny bit, and you go back and just try and get the little bits that are left. There's always a little bit left. And you clean it up, and voila, you can barely tell the thing was there. So there we have it. Cleaning off just a little bit more oils and soils. Get back down to it. Polish it up just a little bit. And you would never even know that there'd been paint on that, would you? Okay, as you can see, and I used a little test piece here that had already broken off previously. I'm not going to be able to reuse this, but as you can see, just cleaning it up, it did a lot. You can still see some of the shine, some of the old varnish, but it kind of looks a little dead. So here's what we're going to try. We're going to try bringing this back to life with a little bit of polyurethane and just a cloth. Let's see what happens if we just put a little more finish on this and let that dry. You gotta be a little careful when you do apply this stuff, because you can see, if you do a lot of that, you can see a lot of bumps and bubbles in there. You gotta smooth those all out. Make sure it gets in all that grain. Yes, doing it this way, you will get a lot on your hands. And let's see what this does. After a little while, we'll come back, we'll look at this piece, and we'll see if it continues to stay this nice, bright, and shiny, beautiful piece of oak. Alrighty, well, there you have it. All that stuff cleaned up, looking sharp. All those various pieces. I'm gonna try and stay out of my own way here. See that water underneath there? Look just how dirty that stuff is now. That was all on all of these pieces of lumber. Okay, well, that's about all there is to getting this stuff cleaned and prepped and ready. Next step, well, I ran around yesterday and took measurements of the entire house, making my own blueprint. Now, it's not to scale or anything like that. That doesn't really matter so much. I'm just trying to figure out where each of those pieces goes in my living room, dining room, wherever there it is that they're from. And so I got basic measurements that, again, are not accurate and they're not to scale. What I need to do is puzzle this stuff out and figure out what's a close enough measurement so that I can try to put this stuff back to where it belonged, and then figure out what I have to mill and replace. At that, I think we're gonna do another video for milling and replacing some of that stuff. But for now, this is where I'm at. This is the state of the project, and hey, hope you enjoy this new and slightly different point of view from the porch.